Hello everyone, this is Kaiju Killer 78 here, and for today we'll be discussing the Gridman anime, the one from 2018. I have already watched this anime back when it was airing. I'll just like to get that out of the way. But for not everyone who's aware, this series was actually a stealth sequel to the original Gridman Tokusatsu series. And if you don't know, a stealth sequel is basically a sequel or a prequel that is not advertised as a sequel to any other previous works, and it isn't usually confirmed towards either halfway or towards the end of a series that it is indeed a sequel, thus becoming a stealth sequel or a secret sequel. So the Gridman anime ended up being a stealth sequel. Not surprising, especially for me, because as the series was continuing, as the episodes were airing back then, already had an idea that this could be a sequel. And as the series progressed, there were hints towards it being a sequel. But it wasn't eventually sort of confirmed until episode 6, with the introduction of the character Anosilas II. And she is basically a kaiju in human form. And she basically explains everything to the protagonist that this world he is living in or is currently in isn't real, it's an illusion, or it's fabricated. And she eventually ends up saying that this world was created none other than Akane Shinjo, one of the antagonists of the series, along with the help from an alien life form called Alexis Carib. Anosilas goes on to say that her predecessor owes a lot to Gridman, indicating that Gridman and Anosilas II have previously met before, which she does say, but our protagonist Utah is confused as to what she means by that. And this basically indicates that what she is referring to is episode 6 of the original Tokusatsu Gridman series. In episode 6, Anosilas was actually a gentle, friendly kaiju. However, he was mind controlled by the series antagonist, and Gridman almost was close to killing him if it weren't for someone else that interfered and told Gridman to spare him, which he eventually did. This also indicates that Anosilas II is actually one of Anosilas' descendants or children. Anosilas basically confirms that the entire anime is a sequel to the original Tokusatsu Gridman, which is kind of funny because as the next episode already shows the city or the old computer world from the previous, or I mean from the original Tokusatsu Gridman series, and it is basically hanging above the sky, like as literally in the clouds. As to why this is unexplained. It's probably Akane couldn't somehow get rid of the previous computer world, and she probably hid it up above in the sky. Another thing to discuss is Alexis Carib, the actual main antagonist of this series. He is basically an alien that eventually found Akane, and he basically feeds on beings with a lot of negative emotions. And when he found Akane, he realized that she had a lot of negative emotions stored within her, so he basically manipulated her into creating the computer world. Which Akane did. She created her ideal or perfect world, and she created every human, every human in this computer world, including Rika. Now, let's talk about Rika and Akane because this is pretty interesting. Let's just say Akane, when she created this world, she wanted to look like the ideal female, and she created herself as a pink-haired girl with large breasts. And Rika, obviously being a creation of Akane in the computer world, is actually Akane's real self. Rika actually holds Akane's real personality and her looks from the real world. That's why as the series progressed, there was sort of this someone like friendship, not so friendship between both Akane and Rika. And in the ending, when Akane wakes up in the real world, you can kind of see that she has long hair or somewhat of Rika's looks. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that Rika and Akane are basically one in the same, or they're basically literally the same person. Because when Akane in the real world created the computer world, her actual real body felt unconscious or she was asleep, while her consciousness, or I guess her soul, was in the computer world. And this is backed up by the music video of the opening song that was released after the series ended, and it basically shows Akane in the real world, and she basically looks exactly like Rika does. Now let's talk about compoids. Compoids are the actual human-like native species that live in the computer world, and they actually only appeared for like one episode in the original Gridman series. However, in the anime, Alexis Carib calls the citizens in Akane's computer world replicompoids, indicating that these replicompoids are replicas of the real compoids. And which is funny because as Funimation and Crunchyroll were dubbing and subbing this series for the English audiences, they removed the term compoids and replaced it with the term replicas. And they did this because they felt like no one would have understood what a compoid was or what it was referring to, which I think is for the best because not many people even till this day know that this is a stealth sequel to the original Gridman series. And basically, in the final episode of the series, by Gridman assuming his true form, it basically confirms this anime was a sequel to the original Tokusatsu series because the entirety of the series, Gridman was like an amnesiac. He lost his memories. He didn't remember anything, and it wasn't into the final episode that he recovered all of his memories. And in the ending, we also see a cameo appearance of none other than Anocilos himself, which already, confirms Anocilos II being somewhat a descendant or a child of Anocilos. Now let's talk about the Dynazenon anime, which releases tomorrow actually as of this video's release date. I have no idea what this series is gonna be. My guess is it's gonna be a stealth sequel again to the original Tokusatsu Gridman, and I believe it's mostly gonna explain what happened to the Dino Dragon, why it wasn't with Gridman in the first anime. I guess that's my theory. What's gonna happen? But it could be something else. No idea. I'll probably make another explanation video until the ending of that series, but I guess that's all for this video. I know my mic and audio sounds bad because my mic is literal garbage, but at least I hope you guys enjoyed it or found some sort of entertainment from this video. My voice sounds weird, I guess, too, but I really can't do anything about that. Sorry. Either ways, I hope you enjoyed it and thank you so much for watching.